Thanks for calling me back. I'm from the future, and honestly, we're having quite a bit of difficulty adjusting to all this tech. What happened? Well, what happened was blue screens everywhere. The reliance on technology is quite incredible. The incident is so bad that baristas to flights to medical procedures have all been halted. Have I tried TikToking it? Reddit?
Last week was wild, and honestly, it kind of baffled me. It shook me a little bit, because I rely heavily on technology as well. I have a Windows PC that was also down, but it did pique my curiosity. Like, how did we operate without the internet before, without CrowdStrike before, without all of these privacy features before? Have you thought how strange it is when you want to say, I don't know, dye your hair using lemons? You just bippity-boppity-boop on a device, and somewhere in the world, someone else has also bippity-boppity-booped on their device and documented their experience so you know how to do it. Like, people just put their experiences out there for us to learn from. Honestly, at the end of the day, it really shows that humans are cute, but a little dumb. Because not everything you read online or see online is true, especially in 2024. Especially with monetization driving content culture. But it did make me wonder, what was life like before the internet took over? Before we had such a reliance on devices and the internet? In this video, I want you to take a moment to imagine a hands-on life that is honestly face-to-face almost always. No Google Maps, no smartphones, nada, zilch, nothing. Just people, physical objects like encyclopedias. Today, I want to talk about how everybody got by without the technology that we also take for granted today. We use, overuse, and abuse it all. So today, we are talking about the internet. Internet. A hill that I am willing to die on is that we did not deserve the internet and its awesomeness. I am a bit of an old head. I think I was even around before Wi-Fi. We called it dial-up. We couldn't be on the phone and on the computer at the same time. Let me take you on a trip down memory lane. Let's take a look at the good, the bad, and yes, the ugly. Because believe it or not, things did exist before the internet, you guys. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and I'm Dries. I have a master's degree in educational technology and new media with a background in teaching. So, when I say that this stuff is absolutely fascinating to me, how we use technology, what kind of technology we're leveraging, and how we learn with it, it is fascinating stuff. But before the internet, knowledge, new information were hosted in different forums. Not Reddit, not TikTok, but physical copies, like libraries and town halls and newspapers. In fact, books, encyclopedias, maps were a bit of staples inside of schools, inside of homes, and libraries. These are what we call the primary sources for, say, things like research and navigation and learning. Let's start with encyclopedias. I know, blast from the past. Encyclopedias are a collection of written works that were really the go-to source for any comprehensive information on a wide range of topics. Sometimes you'd have to buy a set, sometimes you'd buy one at a time if you can't afford it. Some families even had entire bookshelves dedicated to their encyclopedias. But each volume of encyclopedias contained certain information in alphabetical orders, and each entry was honestly meticulously curated and defined and well thought out. And yes, somehow they did manage to update the encyclopedias periodically. And we mentioned maps, and I'm not talking about Google Maps. These were actually physical form maps that you would have to unfold, and they were absolutely essential. Whether they were folded in your glove box or sprawled across the table, it was these things helping guide everybody in the world. I don't know how to make that point any more severe. Everybody in the world used maps. When I was like 6 or 7, I drove across the country with my mom in a busted up car, and we had these maps, just maps. We got lost, we broke down, we got stung by bees in Minnesota when we were trying to fix the car at a family's house. Trauma. Sorry. Whoa. I'm getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. But you see, the art of reading a map was a crucial skill. It required patience, the ability to interpret symbols, scales, and how to chat someone up at your local gas station when you're lost.
Shouldn't we stop somewhere and ask for directions?
You know, that's just how people used to do things without the internet, and it took a lot of time. You see, without the internet, many people had to just engage with their environment constantly, and for us introverts, that sounds like an absolute nightmare today. You see, today, we leverage online forums such as Reddit, media platforms like TikTok and ChatGPT and other sorts of apps. Back then, they leveraged their communication skills, maps, and obviously, yes, encyclopedias and community. You see, communication primarily was face-to-face, on the phone, and I'm keeping it vague because I don't want to predate phones here, right? We're just talking in general before the internet. It was papers, letters, the radio, postcards, you name it. Those were the DMs of the past. Social gatherings, town halls, local events, these were the places that people communicated, made plans, and honestly developed a community. There were absolutely advantages to life without the internet. Fostering a community with fewer distractions and obviously promoting productivity is awesome. But what happened when you needed something? Quickly, not tomorrow. The need to go to a library, thumb through an encyclopedia, and research by hand certain things is very mundane and time-consuming. Can you even imagine navigating using only a map in a place that you were unfamiliar with? I couldn't fathom. Not if Google Maps wasn't telling me where to take my left and how many feet to do that. Again, we take all of this stuff for granted. You want to learn to chop wood? Well, you better talk to your handyman or local carpenter. Do you want to learn how to bake a cake? Well, you better go get a book on it and start highlighting. And obviously a lot of practice. Because there's no YouTube videos for you to follow. There's no end result for you to peep before you even get there. You don't even know always what it's supposed to look like, let alone taste like. I digress. And yet somehow, with all of these added steps, there were fewer distractions. More productivity. Well, it depends on how you measure productivity, I suppose. Because I bet the volume of productivity is a lot larger. I'm getting sidetracked again. Imagine having to do all of this stuff and not even being able to procrastinate by doom scrolling. A little side note here, I would suggest if you can to replace your doom scrolling for procrastination with micro learning, go out there and follow some better channels. I'm talking to you. You know the channels you follow. Follow better ones. Be better. Back to life without the internet. Imagine a forced absence of social media. Imagine that. Nowadays, people pay big bucks out in Ojai for this sort of experience without social media, a forced absence of social media. Straight up, I can see the comments now. This all sounds like a nightmare. I'm glad we have internet. Oh my god, I couldn't imagine. Yada yada yada. And I'm not even saying that life without internet was better. It had its advantages, but it also has its drawbacks. There's no denying that we are simply in a much more technologically advanced and better society today. Let's not forget how this video started. I was looking up how to dye my hair with lemons and I stumbled into a video from somebody from the UK. Yeah, I mean, experiential learning is powerful and that is what technology has given us via social media. Before the internet, we had to engage vigorously with each task we did. With limited access to information, I think back then you just had to get a bit more scrappy. And yes, there were fewer distractions, more productivity, but at the same time, it did require more work, more labor. The breadth and the immediacy in which we can access information today is simply unmatched, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. On this channel, we talk about new technology, future ideas, and of course, the progress we're making with all of it. But I want to thank you for slowing down with me today. I hope that reflecting on life before the internet gives us a bit of perspective and how valuable the internet is and how it's able to cultivate direct communication and foster these beautiful communities. I appreciate the internet, and it all makes me even more curious to how we're going to leverage this technology to learn, share, and communicate in the future. It's changing quick and we've come so far. I can't wait to see what everything looks like in just a short decade. So if you enjoyed the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you until next time. Stay curious, you guys. Bye! What do you mean no one uses rotary phones anymore?